Hello, everyone. I'm Tracy. Thank you so much for being here. In today's video, we're going to be going over the Hughes fire, as well as the many other fires going on in Southern California, as well as in Baja California. Before we get started, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so before you leave, and like, comment, and share this video so we can let people know what's really going on. Okay, so let me just show you guys what's going on. Or, you know what, before we get started, I do want to show this very interesting clip that from Trump, and he was in Asheville, and he has a comment on the Los Angeles fires.
The biggest in the history of California. I think, has anything bigger than that happened in the whole country ever? It looks like, I don't want to say what it looks like, but you know what I'm going to say. It looks like something hit it. And we won't talk about what hit it, but it is a bad, bad situation.
All right, so he says something hit it. He doesn't want to say what. I do think he implies that some sort of weapon was used to start these fires. Okay, so let's go into the Hughes fire. I'll show a little overview, and it's around the Castaic Lake, which is a large reservoir, and it's over 10,000 acres. It's probably at 11,000 acres by now, and areas had to evacuate, schools had to evacuate because it started so quickly. I think it was around maybe 10:30 when the report came through, and within a matter of hours, it was already at 4,000 acres, 5,000 acres, and yeah, now it's at over 10,000. So that is very, very fast, especially considering there wasn't really strong winds. So I did want to bring that up. Also, they used inmates to create fire breaks. So that's actually a torch. So they, they burned areas so that it wouldn't cross into certain areas. And here is the camera that caught the beginning of the Hughes fire.
That UCSD has in the area. It's the Whitaker Ridge camera, excuse me, but you can see there the initial start of that fire and how quickly it has spread. We first got word of it burning 40 to 50 acres, and now we're at 500 plus. But again, that is a camera, a live look at the start of that fire, the Hughes fire.
And another thing about these cameras that are all over the state, there are networks of these cameras, which many of the forestry services are using AI to identify a fire start versus, and it actually can tell the difference between fog and smoke or clouds and smoke, and they actually can get a so much faster start on fighting these fires thanks to AI use of cameras just like this one out of UC San Diego.
And I do think the Hughes fire had a very quick reaction, and there were crews on the ground very quickly. Okay, and then the news channels caught a number of Firenadoes. Now, I did a video. I'll put that in the end screen and link it in the description so you can hear Shane give a more scientific explanation for how Firenadoes happen. But they are fairly new. This is not something we used to see commonly in these fires, but they're very common now. We don't always see them, but it's not uncommon to see them in order for a Firenado. So you can see that one really well. And then there's a bunch of them, and so I'll keep playing the different ones that were caught. I think this is one of the better, easier to see ones. And then sometimes you'll even see the smoke kind of turn into like a smoke nado. I think it's in the next one we'll see like the smoke. But it seems like there's like some sort of force that's like kind of like sucking the flame up.
That is not what these firefighters need right now. I want to show you some video right now. This is just in from our Fox 11 employee, Robert. This is live video from Robert's from his home.
Okay, and then here is another clip. And the reason I wanted to show this one is the really thick black plume of smoke that's coming out of this area. Usually black smoke is indicative of fuel or, rubber, things like that. Not usually in the case of shrubs or trees or brush. But this just, it reminded me of the black plume that came down from the mountains in Lahaina.
Little homes up there. Hopefully that's not what we're seeing burning right there. But it again, we know from just past experience that chaparral, you can kind of see that's what it is. We'll put up it is heavy with oils, and that's the reason why it's natural oils, and that's the reason why we have that dark plume of smoke right there. I'm going to get rid of that line that we drew. But definitely, you can see that this is burning very, very quickly, and 50 acres that quick. This is really a fast-moving fire, much like we've seen in the past.
Yeah. Stu, I'm also looking at the Watch Duty app as we just refreshed it, and it now upped it to 500 acres.
Okay, so when you saw that really heavy black plume come out, I did ask Robert Brain, the arborist who studies these things, and he did say he can't be sure, but he does think it is a little unusual that the smoke is so thick and black in color, but it could be other types of plants, and it could be some kind of material in the ground, but it's too hard to see it there. Okay, now I'm going to go into the different smaller fires that are popping up. And this is not such a small one. This is a border fire. It's in San Diego, close to the border, and it's over 5,000 acres now. And this one started really fast too. This one started yesterday, and the winds were going west, and now they're going east. And that's something we see with these fires as well. The wind changes directions very fast. Here's one in Camarillo. It's called the Laguna Fire. And then a few days ago, the one near the 405 in LA called the Sepulveda Fire, because it's crossing the Sepulveda Pass, which is a heavily traveled area. So that makes things very difficult, because if they have to close the 405, it causes a really serious backlog of traffic, and there's not a lot of other options to pass this area if the 405 is closed. Here's another one, the Gibble Fire. The Gilman Fire, this one is in San Diego as well. Another one in Oxnard, you can see south, a little bit south down the coast, the Perkins Fire. And there's another one called the Fig Fire in Murrieta. And something else really interesting, and I found, I got this from Into Thin Air. He caught a couple of fairly large fires in Baja, California. So actually, we can see that the one that's south of Tecate right there, because it's in Mexico, we don't have a lot of data on it, but the area is pretty big, so I'm assuming that is a fire. And then there's another one that's south of Ensenada, and this one is bigger. So these are heat signatures. So when you see like little dots, that could be like an oil refinery or something else causing that heat signature. But when you see a big area that's hot like this, it's very likely a fire that's causing that. And I think that's going to do it for the larger fires as well as the little fires. But these small fires are popping up constantly. So almost every time I look at my Watch Duty app, I see another fire, popping up. But they're often put down or controlled very quickly. All right, and so here is one more clip. I'm going to close out with another Trump clip, and he was just in Asheville, North Carolina, about looking at the devastation from Helene. He's supposedly in California, in LA right now, or should be soon, but he's going to make a very strong statement about FEMA.
Will also be signed an executive order to begin the process of fundamentally reforming and overhauling FEMA, or maybe getting rid of FEMA. I think, frankly, FEMA is not good. I think when you have a problem like this, I think you want to go and, whether it's a Democrat or Republican governor, you want to use your state to fix it and not waste time calling FEMA. And then FEMA gets here and they don't know the area. They've never been to the area. And they want to give you rules that you've never heard about. They want to bring people that aren't as good as the people you already have. And FEMA's turned out to be a disaster. And you could go back a long way. You could go back to Louisiana. You could go back to some of the things that took place in Texas. It turns out to be the state that ends up doing the work. It just complicates it. I think we're going to recommend that FEMA go away.
Sir, can you just talk about how long you think it might take to get rid of FEMA? What's the timeline on that? If we're going to roll it back?
Yeah, I would say, look, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not really thinking about FEMA right now here. I'm thinking about Michael Watley, and I'm thinking about the 3 Congress people that you just heard from, and also the other people in Congress, and they'll be working with the governor.
All right. So if you've been following these tragedies, you'll see time after time FEMA getting in the way of relief and aid, and even so far as to FEMA sabotaging the relief efforts on the ground. And I did a video from Asheville. If I can find it, I'll link it in the description. But there's footage of a FEMA, or maybe it was a National Guard, but they were rotor washing one of the hubs that was helping out in Asheville. So maybe that wasn't FEMA, sorry, but I'm just trying to make a point that a lot of the federal agencies will purposely try to get in the way of relief. And the explanation for that is complicated, but I was really happy to hear that Trump is aware and willing to do something to shut FEMA down, if not shut them down, make some really serious adjustments to how these tragedies are responded to. So that is going to do it for today. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I will keep you guys posted if anything else comes up. So I'll see you all soon. Bye.